These are my friends Chris and Erica. Together they founded a virtual life insurance agency that is fully remote, so that means that they are constantly on Zoom calls and meetings. And normally they work out of their office, but recently it became more convenient for them to work from home. Oh, and Chris is also a creator. You might have come across his TikTok explaining various concepts of life and financial breakdowns with a toy named John. And Erica teaches people on how to get clients on social media for free without paying leads. So whenever they are not creating, we typically hang out. That's why I went into shock when they sent me this. They had terrible cable management, they had a treadmill, the flimsiest desk from Amazon that should even be illegal to be sold in the first place, and one of those racing style gaming chairs that invented back pain. That is why I had to step in and build them a minimalist desk setup. But here's the thing, the setup had to be done in 3 days, built for someone who is not super techie, hashtag Erica, be able to dock with an iPad Pro and a Windows laptop, all under a $1,300 budget, which low-key I kind of blew it, so I'm not gonna be talking about that for the rest of the video. But since Erica will be using this space the most, she had a few must-haves. One, a place to charge her phone, a webcam to take meetings, a key light to make her Zoom calls look better, and to build it with around natural tones because she loves beach vibes. And I said, say less. By the way, shout out to FlexiSpot for sending over some items, but more on them later. By the way, anything you see on this video is going to be linked below, and just a heads up, those are affiliate links, meaning if you purchase something through them, I will be getting a kickback at no additional cost to you. This actually supports my channel, so thank you guys in advance. So first thing was to paint the wall. We went with a green tea leaf from Home Depot, and I don't know why, but the camera doesn't do justice enough on this color. It came out actually very dope. And the reason we went with a lighter color versus a dark blue or a black like I typically do on my setups is because this specific area of the house doesn't get enough natural light. That's why I wanted to keep the wall color as light as possible so it doesn't become a dark corner. With doing a few setups here and there, lately I've become even better at painting, so Chris and I knocked out these 2 walls plus a little bookshelf area in just under a couple of hours. Once the wall was dry, we dressed up a little bit more with these wood slab panels by the Wood Veneer Hub. Shout out to them because they actually sent me some, the same ones that you see on my desk setup. If you haven't yet, make sure you go check out the video. But these panels, not only they elevate the space, they also provide acoustic treatment to the walls, which came in clutch because there was a little bit of echo on this area. In my opinion, that one went great with the green wall, keeping the vibes very natural and earthy. So installing these panels are super easy. You don't need to find any studs or use any adhesive if you don't want to. You just add 2 drywall screws to the top, 2 to the middle, 2 to the bottom, and it's pretty secure. And these individual slats, they actually act as studs itself, so if you need to install something, it's gonna hold very well. After that, it was time to set up the desk and chairs, and shout out to FlexiSpot for sending these over and sponsoring the portion of today's video. So they sent over their E8 desk and their C6 chair, which honestly looks super sleek and feel very comfortable for being budget options. And I know I'm throwing the budget term loosely, but think about it, there's much more expensive desks out there and chairs. I'm not saying it's cheap, but it still comes up on the budget end of things compared to what's out there. Assembling the chair was very straightforward. It was just about screwing the armrest onto the base, flipping it over, and then attaching the backrest to it. And on the very top, you could pop in the headrest to those 2 locking screws, and boom, everything was locking tight. The C6 ergonomic chair has a lumbar support that's there but not too aggressive, which I appreciate. Oh, and Chris was loving that way more than his gaming chair. Okay, so a few more details about this chair. It's an ergonomic chair designed to ease comfort and fatigue, meaning you can adjust everything from seat height and back angle, as well as the armrests. They go up and down and forward to give you a little extra elbow real estate when typing. The back of the seat is tailored to fit your body comfortably, and it feels almost personalized, but the thing that gets me is that sleek design on the back. We went with a black with light gray tones, and this chair actually looks way more expensive than it is, which was so clutch to this space and match the tones that we are going with, keeping the setup fresh and vibrant. Moving on to the desk is the E8 model. Is a dual motor sit-stand desk featuring a mature bamboo top. What I love the most about assembling this desk is the pre-perforated holes on the bottom of the top, which eliminates guesswork or measuring, and that just speeds up the installation process big time. So I definitely appreciated that a lot. Once the base was secure, it was all about just adjusting the motor legs and hooking up the controller, and the systems were all ready to go. The desk can hold up to 352 pounds, but there was no way I was testing that, so Erica stepped up to the weight check until things got real and she realized how high she was and she had to calm down. But this desk also features a digital control panel with 4 height settings, super handy for a desk that is shared by 2 different people. So Erica's got her sit stand presets on 1 and 2, and Chris has the sit stand icons for sitting and to put some steps in with his treadmill while it's working. The desk also has an anti-collision feature that is super sensitive and is a total lifesaver, especially if you got kids around or you just want to keep your chair and your setup safe from bumps. Trust me, this feature is very useful and will definitely save you from some potential mishaps. So on this one, we opted for the white legs with a bamboo top, keeping the overall theme of the setup light and airy. But FlexiSpot has a variety of colors and dimensions on Amazon, so check them out on the link in the description below, along with any discount codes. And huge thanks again to FlexiSpot for sponsoring the portion of this video. In my book, no matter how minimal a desk setup is, a big must-have is a desk shelf. And I know those things don't come in cheap. That's why I found this alternative on Amazon, which I featured on my hybrid desk setup. If you haven't watched it yet, go check that out. And it's by a company named Aotia. And the crazy thing is that it has the form factor of a Grove made desk shelf, which costs you more than $200. And this one comes with a bamboo top with cork legs, which you simply press them down to have them installed, and bam. By the way, depending what you're rocking on your setup, you can paint this cork legs, which was a recommendation by a subscriber when I used mine on my setup, so I had to go back and paint those. But on this setup, I was not gonna do that because of the earthy and bamboo tones that we are going for. Okay, next up was the monitor arm that we picked up from Amazon, and it was perfect for our monitor of choice, which was the LG Ultrawide QHD 34-inch curved monitor. This one is connected via USB-C and is a 1080p monitor with HDR10 compatibility and a dynamic action sync function to help reduce input lag. Again, this was not supposed to be a gaming setup or anything, because this is going to be mainly for productivity. It was a perfect pickup for this setup, and yes, we had a budget. So $400, it was not too bad. The monitor still displays gray colors with enough brightness for you to work and get through any task while docked. Okay, talking about the peripherals, the keyboard we went with is the MX Key Mini Wireless, because Erica, she's not a fan of mechanical keyboards and she's not super techy. And this one was a great choice because it has a function that is super easy for you to change between your devices, in this case from her laptop to the iPad. The MX Minis, they feel great when you're typing. The keys feel very efficient and responsive, and they're great on battery. And for the mouse, we went with the little brother of the MX Master 3S, the M720 Triathlon, which is a pretty fast mouse, but again, this will be used mostly for productivity, and the mouse still has a form factor that will kinda give your hand a little bit more shape, saving you from future hand cramps. We also got an adjustable stand for the iPad to keep it visible in front and center, so that it's within reach and still can be used as a touchscreen function or even typing if necessary. For Erica's laptop stand, I had an adjustable stand, so this was the perfect scenario to bring it over and make it a part of this setup. Now, the most important thing that gave me a little bit of a headache was a dock. So because this setup needed to accommodate a Windows laptop and an iPad, the dock had to be Thunderbolt and under budget. Specifically, support Thunderbolt 3 and 4. So without breaking the bank, I found this option on Amazon, and I believe it's by a brand called SSK. It's a Thunderbolt 4 dock that supports 8K footage and connects via USB-C. It has multiple USB-C ports, perfect for max up to 10 gigabits of speed, with dual HDMI ports as well as internet ports, and it works really well as long as you have 100 watts of power delivery going to it. One thing that I like to do when I'm building my desk is I start the cable management right away. So if you notice, when I was putting together the desk, I actually went ahead and installed the server rack, which typically serves as a main hub so I can tuck away any extra loose cables to make the cable management process much easier. Oh, and I know you guys have been requesting me to make a cable management video. I will make that video as detailed as I can so you guys get all the nuggets. So stay tuned, so make sure you subscribe so that you get notified as soon as I drop that video. Once everything was laid out, all I had to do was position the speakers on the side, which we went with a budget friendly that still give us clear high frequencies, and that's the Edifiers R33BT active bookshelf speakers. And these guys, they look great with or without the grid, so we went with the grid for this time. With these speakers, is nice that you can connect with your phone via Bluetooth, but as far as connecting with the setup, I actually like to be docked and hardwired just to reduce any audio waves or interferences. Now, talking about some accessories, we went with an iPhone charging station by Cooksy, and shout out to Cooksy for sending this over. This is a foldable magnetic charger with aluminum alloy that is a 3-in-1 station for your Apple Eggshell charger, your iPhone, and your AirPods. This charger gives 20 watts of power going to your iPhone and 5 going to your AirPods and Apple Watch. It's a very versatile and portable charger that you can have it in multiple modes. For example, a horizontal mode or a vertical mode, or even you can just lay down flat on your desk and have your devices side by side. That is really nice because all you gotta do is bring one single cord that's gonna charge 3 devices, giving you already advantage on cable management right there. But Coolsview didn't stop there. They also sent us their X35 magnetic iPad stand, which is really cool for those moments that you want to have your iPad next to your screen. And this stand is super cool. You can position anywhere on your desk because it has a desk clamp mount, and with the magnets it will hold your iPad without you being worried about it falling. So this one specifically was a model to fit the 12.9-inch iPad Pro, but I believe they have other models as well. So make sure you go check out Coolsview for their products, and shout out to them for sending these over because I know that Chris and Erica will put them to great use. Okay, to bring in the extra desk light that Erica asked for, we went with the monitor light bar that has a dial that controls brightness up and down as well as temperature. And the controller is super cool. It's this round box that you can actually have in front of your screen, so it's dope. For the webcam, like Erica wanted, we got a 4K webcam that also has a built-in microphone and autofocus. It's not super high-end crystal clear 4K like I've seen in the past, but it gets the job done, especially if you have proper lighting to support it. That's why we also added this desk mount light on the very side so that Erica can maneuver easily to take calls and put it away whenever she's done with it. Oh, and the large felt desk mat, you might have seen it on the channel just under a different color by a company called Dawn Trees. I had it on my previous setup, and it's a really dope desk mat because it's a non-slip desk mat that comes with rubber grips on the bottom, and just in case you want to drink coffee, tea, or something, and in case of any spill, this thing will absorb it without sending straight through to your desk. Oh, and the topic of comfort and ergonometry, to support a better sitting posture, we also got a nice comfy footrest, and it does exactly what it sounds like. It is a super comfy pillow for you to rest your foot, which is really dope because it can help your knees stay at a 90-degree angle to avoid any extra strain or tension to your knees. To the side of the setup, to add a little bit more decor, we added a fake plant. We picked up a 4 feet, but then we realized it wasn't tall enough, so we brought in this bench to kind of give it a little bit more height, and we also kept it in the same colors of the desk so it doesn't just look awkward being here. Now, to top everything off with lighting, you guys know I do like a nice Govee lineup. So to the back of the monitor, we went with the monitor bars and a M1 light strip to the back of the desk, and to the wall, just to bring a little bit more dimension and pop, we put a rope light that just happens to fit in between these slab panels perfectly. Govee though does bring these small clips that you can drill onto the panels to make it secure, just so you can help guide the rope light and make sure it doesn't fall off or anything. The rope light had a little bit of slack, and we decided to put it on the bottom of the desk. And to make this setup even sweeter, I connected to Alexa because it's much easier for Erica to give commands to Alexa than download these different apps to control these lights and things like that. One detail though, to make sure they still have power on top of the desk to charge, for example, the iPad in case it's not docked, or just anything else, for example like the keyboard, I also added a charging station by Ugreen that has a USB-A and USB-C connections. Once everything was built, it was ready to test. With the Windows laptop, it's super easy to go ahead and plug this guy because Erica has a HP Pavilion with a USB-C connection on the side, and once you plug it up, this thing will pop right up to the screen as well with the iPad. The only thing with the iPad though is just make sure that you have it in Stage Manager, and these are for iPads that have the M1 chip and above. Sometimes if you are not, your iPad will automatically prompt you to go in there because that's the only way it can be used as docked. And as of right now, the iPad does not support clamshell mode, meaning you are docked to the iPad and you close the case, or you close off your iPad and will still be docked. That doesn't happen as of yet. You still want to have your iPad kind of within reach, just in case something pops up, you're still able to navigate or use the touch functionalities, because it is an extended display that sometimes you can mirror, but it still has its limitations. Oh, by the way, remember the bookshelf? Yep, we gave it a massive facelift. I know I didn't show you guys how it was before, but it was full of books and awards that Chris and Erica had laying around. But for this one, we went with a more adult look, but still giving Erica the vibes that the beach is nearby. And she also had this artwork done years ago, and it was just laying around the house, so it was a perfect fit to bring and make it a part of this setup. And funny thing, she had these frames for a long time ago and just never actually used it or had done any artwork for it. So because of the sake of time, we never got the chance to put any artwork, and we just left it with the stock images, and kind of just became an inside joke calling this space Lighthouse Financial. So there you go, guys. Even though this is a minimal desk setup, there's nothing minimal about putting together desk setups in general, especially if you're going to be connecting speakers, LEDs, laptops, iPads. You got to take some time to make sure everything looks nice and neat. Otherwise, it would just be a space that will end up stressing you out. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and it gave you kind of like a blueprint on inspiration if you're going to put together a minimal desk setup to fit an iPad or even a laptop. And see you guys in the next one.